Most of them believes in rituals without really knowing the reasons behind them. They try to trap them in rituals and superstitious activities.
And that's something we believe in without any proof. Or do you have a proof? What is the superstition? That you take as something axiomatic, something that is inviolable. You believe that if you have hit 35 and still don't own a BMW, then life is wasted. I'm 28, so I must marry. Being a woman, I'm crossing 30. Where are my kids? Please tell me, how is that not a superstition?
There are people in like rural villages where they are not much educated. So that's where these people thrive through their preaching skills.
Believing becomes a very comfortable habit. Once you get into that, knowing appears troublesome and questions appear like insults.
Superstitions also come because of holding on to things.
If there is a holder, what else will the poor one do? It will hold. Now the thing is, and that's the comedy.
Hello sir, it's my pleasure to meet you. So I'm Deepak Arbat from BTech final year student.
Welcome.
Of Material Science and Metallurgical Engineering department. So as we all know, there are many Indians who are still superstitious. Most of them believes in myths, beliefs and other rituals without really knowing the reasons behind them. My mother is one of those individuals. She spends most of her time in activities related to God, rituals and religious meetings. My father also believes in God, but he mostly he's socially oriented guy, so he acts on the basis of society. And there are many people who take advantages of ordinary people based on sacred text. They try to trap them in rituals and superstitious activities. So as an educated individual, what should be my approach so that my mother will stop doing this kind of stuff or reduce this kind of stuff?
See, the easy approach is science, obviously. If people believe that, for example, the lunar eclipse happens because some great demon comes and puts a wheel on the moon, then by demonstrating how the celestial bodies move and the proofs that are available, right, you can do away with the superstition. So science is a very powerful means when it comes to that. But but the deepest superstition cannot be taken care of using science alone. Please go into it. You think you are somebody. We want to explore superstition. You think you are somebody, right? That's how we behave, right? We say, my body, for example, my body. So there is this body, and there is somebody who controls this body or owns this body or lives within the body. Is that not the hidden belief that all of us have? Please tell me. Yeah?
Yes.
There is something within the body. There is something within the body, and that's who I am. My body, right?
Actually, the thoughts which make us.
Yes, my thoughts, not just thoughts,
yeah,
my
perspective.
thoughts. So there are not just thoughts, but there is also an owner of thoughts who declares my thoughts, right? And that's something we believe in without any proof. Or do you have a proof? Is there a proof?
Yeah. That's why their insecurities or their vulnerability makes them believe that, because that's how superstition is.
Yes. We are starting from the basics. Is there a proof that there is something inside the body? There is no proof, right? Right? It's almost like saying there is this hall, let's say, and there are a lot of sounds emanating from the hall. So you imagine, you posit, you assume that there must be somebody inside the hall. That's what is happening. This hall, let's say, is the body. This hall is the material body, right? And there is some movement happening and some sound arising, just as we move and we speak. So you assume that there must be somebody inside the hall. But is it necessary that there is somebody inside? The hall itself might be vibrating. Is it not possible?
Yes.
The hall itself might be vibrating.
It might be.
Might be. It's a nature of material to move, and material can move for many physical reasons. But we imagine that just because we walk or we eat or we breathe, therefore there is somebody inside. And this is the first superstition. The self is the first superstition. The ego is the first superstition. Now you have believed in it without any inquiry, without any basis, without any proof. You have believed in it. This will oblige you to similarly believe in a lot of other things. The self is the mother of all superstitions. Now, for example, this body can be seen to be arising from the soil. That is fine. We know where all the elements, all the material comes from. We know that, right? You take in oxygen, you eat stuff arising from the soil. So we know that the body is material. We also know the chemical composition of the body. You burn the body and you will know how much carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. you get. So you know that this is soil, this is the minerals, this is carbon, this is water, this is all that, right? You know. But the one sitting within the body that you have assumed, that you assume to be somebody beyond the material, right?
Yeah.
You don't say that when somebody dies and the body is burned, then the one within also gets burnt. Do you say that?
Generally, we say it has left before.
So you are imagining, and that's the first superstition, that there is something within that is not material, that will not return to the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then if there is somebody within that is not material and not returned to the soil, then surely you can also imagine that there is somebody beyond material who made that one that sits within the body. Now superstition has taken one more step, right? Without having any proof or any necessity of the self, you invented a self. And this invention will oblige you to make another invention called God.
Yes.
Because the body can be said to have come from the soil. But where has the self come from? If the self exists, then God must exist. The creator kind of God. The creator kind of God who creates. And if it's the creator God that creates things that are invisible, like the self, then that God can create a lot of other things also and make rules and do anything, because none of that requires any proof. Do you see how far superstition has gone? And if you can have a God who is a creator, you can also have so-called negative forces that are destroyers. And now you have ghosts and demons and all kinds of bad things roaming around in an invisible way. All this is superstition. So superstition, if you see, starts from the self. And the self, to prove itself, to sustain itself, imagines a lot of other things. You have heard that common saying, to protect one lie, you have to come up with
100 different ones.
100 or 1,000.
1,000.
Right? That's what. This is the one lie we start with, the self, that the self exists. And then to protect and justify this one lie, we have to invent an entire structure of superstitions, an entire network of superstitions. So superstition then is something that not science alone can take care of. Science is useful, yes, but what you require is self-awareness. Only the deeply spiritual person can be free of superstition. Even scientists are superstitious.
Yes.
Have you not seen superstitious scientists? Now you know the reason. Because science deals with only the external. The science doesn't get into the self. The science takes self for granted. The science says self does exist. The self exists and therefore all the phenomena do exist. Therefore, science does take care of superstition, but only in a partial way. Science is necessary, but not sufficient. What you require is knowledge of the world and knowledge of the self. Inquiry into the seen and inquiry into the seer. And only then superstition is uprooted. As long as the self, the ego remains, you will have superstitions of not one but 1,000 kind. What is the superstition? Superstition is an unfounded, unexamined belief. Now, I am 28, so I must marry. How is that not a superstition? Being a woman, I am crossing 30. Where are my kids? How is that not a superstition? Please tell me, how is that not a superstition?
Isn't it also because of the biological cycle?
No, but I must have it. If you say the biology wants it, that's one thing. But when you say I must have it, I want it, that's a totally different thing.
The source of the belief over here determines that.
You are not taking it as a belief, you are taking it as a truth. Now that's a problem.
That you think as a necessity.
That you take as something axiomatic. Something that is inviolable. I have already crossed 30. Where are my kids? I am a woman.
Sir, it is.
But we think of only the uneducated ones as superstitious. We say, you know, this one believes that there is that lion on the tree. So see how superstitious. But you believe that if you have hit 35 and still don't own a BMW, then life is wasted. How are you not superstitious? And you would have heard it. Or 35 years, that's too much, right? It's a new generation. 35 was my time.
Yeah, okay.
Before 30, you must own a Merc. Otherwise, you know, the ancestors will get unhappy.
By definition of superstition, every human being will have that tendency.
Very well said.
Except for the fact where it's affecting their own family or their own being, like socially. For example, there are superstitions which purely thrive on their insecurities or their vulnerability. For example, there are people in like rural villages where they are not much educated. They lack the sense of their own individuality and critical thinking. That's where they lack. So that's where these people thrive through their preaching skills or their so-called deep thinking, where they instruct them.
Please understand, believing becomes a very comfortable habit. Once you get into that, knowing appears troublesome. And questions appear like insults. Have you not seen you go and question the elders and how they take offense?
Yeah.
I am the elder, I know them better.
Yeah.
Experience thing.
Because knowing sounds like rebellion. Believing has become the very substance of life. And that, I'm saying, is an insult to life because your nature is to know. If you believe, you are insulting yourself. Your nature is to know. And this is an institution of knowing. Or do you come here to believe? Do you come here to believe? When you're told something, aren't you offered supporting proof? Please tell me. Or you're said, by the decree of the highest authority, this has to be accepted. Does it operate that way?
No.
Not anymore.
It used to?
It used to,
some point?
definitely. I mean, think of the Catholic times. That's how education happened.
At that time, the ITs didn't exist.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
thankfully.
universities still exist.
Isn't superstitions also come because of holding on to things?
No. It comes in believing in a holder. If there is a holder, what else will the poor one do? It will hold. Now the thing is, you hold without there being a holder. And that's the comedy. Okay. You consume thinking that consumption will satisfy you, right?
Yes.
But the problem is there is no consumer within, so he can never be satisfied. Therefore, you go on consuming. Had there been a consumer, at least at some point he would have been satisfied. But when there is no consumer, just a dark hole, a black hole, a bottomless abyss, then there is no one to be satisfied.
It's a presumed need that we create.
You think you take this in and somebody is receiving it.
Yeah, that's the presumption.
Nobody is receiving it except your stomach and intestines. But you believe somebody is the consumer. There is no consumer. There is this material going to this material, going to this material, going to this material, and then being excreted out as material. There is no consumer. Therefore, nobody can be satisfied. So you hold on to the perception of being dissatisfied. Please understand. So you are holding on. You don't do anything without self-interest, do you? Whatever you do, even the smallest thing, there is some selfish interest in that, right? So you hold to something. You believe this will be of use. The thing is, there is no user inside. So this can be never of any use. It can be of use to somebody like itself. For example, food is material and therefore it can be of use to the material intestines and to the material muscles and the material bones. Food is useful. But you don't think of yourself as intestines or bones. You say, I am the owner of the bones. No, you are just the bones. But you don't agree to that. You don't agree to that. Otherwise, it will be very, very amusing. You propose to someone and you say, my hormones are proposing to you. Because that's what is really happening. You say, no, I love you. No, it's not that you love him or her. It's the chemicals rushing out. But we don't want to accept that.
So the things like when we think about the caring and kindness or understanding related things, so how can we decide these are the chemicals or these are the comfort zone? And
Don't you see? Don't you see? Don't you see how we salivate? Don't you see how it's also reactionary? Don't you see how today's science can capture all your inner processes as biochemistry and display it to you on a screen? Even when you are thinking, that can be coded into a graph and you can watch that. The entire activity of thinking can be displayed here on a screen. Obviously, it is all material.
So, if it is all material, so I'll come back to that again, that thing, why does the guy in coma wants to wake up? If everything is material, he is also a material, he will die in coma. Why does he wants to wake up then?
Right, wonderful.
I will answer that because he loves his life.
What he's saying is there is nobody. Nobody is in coma. That's what his assertion is. It's a beautiful thing that he has raised. If you please understand. Just as there are several categories of material, there is another material called the ego. And this material has a special property that it is the observer and experiencer of all other material.
That's the property of human beings, right?
That is the property of that particular element.
Yeah, that's how we are
You
born.
could place it in the periodic table.
Yeah, we all are born with an ego.
Yes. Getting it? It is the observer and the experiencer of all material, not consumer. And therefore not the sufferer. And it is this not suffering, not consuming, not associating that is called as awakening or joy. Not suffering is called joy. Not putting yourself in a relationship of ignorance is called awakening. So it is this one. But who is it really? It is not material. Who is it? It is the observer of all material. Just the observer.
So if the guy in the coma is gonna die the same death as the guy who has awakened,
Yes.
so what would be the ultimate purpose then?
The ultimate purpose is to live up to your nature. It is material that changes forms, and that change of form you call as death.
So ultimately we are satisfying our...
Understand. The nature of material is to change form, right? But this thing, the observer, since it is just the observer, therefore it cannot change. It is the observer of all change. It itself cannot change. Therefore, its nature is to not die. But the nature of material is continuous activity, continuous movement, therefore continuous death. Continuous birth, continuous death. Waves rising, waves falling. Continuity. When this one associates itself in an improper way with that which is mortal, then it does something against its nature. By associating yourself to that which is material and therefore would die, you too become mortal. But your nature is not to be mortal. Your nature is to be just the independent observer of all change. Therefore, you are immortal. But you have done something that makes you mortal. What have you done? You have identified with the body by saying, this is my body. Now the body will die. And if you are saying this is your body, you too will die. And that is against your nature because you cannot die. Therefore you suffer.
And what exactly is you here?
Nobody. Just nobody. Just the observer. You see,
What is the state of you?
no state. It is the observer of all states.
But if it can observe, let's assume if it can observe, what in real sense we call observing? We see, we hear,
yes,
we listen.
But when we see, we hear, it is always motivated. It is always from a point. It is always by being somebody. We observe as somebody. The nature of the ego is to observe as nobody. Almost like that point somewhere that's looking at everything purposelessly, desirelessly. And it is so minuscule a point that you cannot look at it. Somebody there is observing this entire phenomena without being observed himself. And that you call as the witness. Seeing but not being seen.
So don't we again come to that conclusion that there is a self which is observing?
We see very clearly that when you are not the observer but the participant, you suffer. You see very clearly that when instead of being the observer or the witness, you choose to be a participant or a consumer, then you suffer.
So once we understand ourselves to be an observer,
yes,
is that called mukti? Or
yes, you start from your own suffering. Because mukti means nothing if there is no bondage. So you start from your own suffering. And you then go into it because you love yourself. And you say, why? If this is life, why must it be like this? And then you come to the roots of it. And then you say it's easy. You just have to drop the whole thing. And then something else continues to happen.
So isn't dropping everything also a selfish interest?
No, not really. It is your nature.
And that means our basic nature would be ego.
Your basic nature is to be nothing.
Nothing.
Not to hold on to it, not to give it up. Your basic nature is to be unobtrusive. Your basic nature is to just know. And that's why this kind of a discussion is very topical in an institution of learning, because you are here to know.
It's also based on the philosophy of Vedanta, right? Where we are like in Vedanta, where your Brahman, supreme being, and your Atman is same.
Brahma, not Brahman.
Sorry, Brahman. I'm sorry. It's one being, but there is also another school where
yes, this is there in Vedanta. But if you go to the Chinese, if you go to Lao Tzu or Li Tzu or Chuang Tzu, you find the same thing. You go to the Greeks, you go to Socrates, and then you go to the Stoics and the Cynics, you find the same thing. It is one thing anybody who loves life would come to. So it is not as if, even if you go to the Sufis, for example, and you study them deeply, you will find the same thing. Right? So this is not one particular philosophy. This is life itself.
Sufism they call Anal Haq.
Yeah. it is the foundation of seeing itself.
I was going to say that word.
Yeah.
Foundation.
Hi, my name is Ankit, and I am a tech professional here in Bangalore. I work at LinkedIn. Been listening to Acharya ji for 2+ years, but initial journey was around YouTube. Like I was listening a lot on YouTube, and on YouTube when we listen to Acharya ji, a lot mistake that I did and a lot of us do is that we think that he's some kind of a life coach, solving problems of our life and all of that. But shift to Gita Satras was the major turning point for me, like, because that's where I understood where this learning is coming from. And like there is a hard base of Bhagavad Gita and Advait Vedanta philosophy from which all the teachings and learnings are emerging. And that has been a life-changing force for me. So my life was full of stress, unorganized behavior. A lot of it is still there, but a lot of it has changed, and it's changing on a day-to-day basis. As and when I observe my life, there is massive changes happening. I somehow feel a lot of like spurts of happiness for no reason, and a lot of pressure as well, like to do better and better and better, which I had forgotten, which I had left after my school days and college days. That okay, now the learning part stops. Now is the time to kind of live life and have that Bangalore kind of vibe, like partying and outing and malls and shoppings and all of that. That's there, but now you see that where it's coming from, what is the root of it, what is the source of it, and how that is something which does not fulfill us, and what fulfills us is something totally different. That understanding has started to come, because of which a lot of things have started dropping off, a lot of things are dropping off, and it's a process. It takes some time, because as I said, my life was very messed up and disorganized, but joining Gita Satras is changing it like phenomenally, and I hope to continue on this path for a much longer time and become like a completely transformed person. All thanks to Acharya ji, and I can't thank him enough in words, and especially the Gita sessions that happen in the evenings. Yeah.
Just download the Acharya Prashant app, and there you go to the community section, and you have live testimonials streaming in at the rate of 1 every 5 minutes. I'm seeing lives change in thousands, if not millions, every day in front of my own eyes. We are doing it.
Right.
We have actually done it.
Join the community of more than 2 lakh participants on the Acharya Prashant app. Your first month is completely free. You'll get full access to Gita Mission. On the app, you will get regular live sessions, daily exclusive conversations with Acharya Prashant, access to the vibrant Gita community, wisdom exams, curated news, audiobooks, quotes, and much more. Search Acharya Prashant on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and download now.